Hey guys, so we talked in the last video about kind of the beginning of the rise of Hitler and what his early life is like. And so today we're going to talk about what happens after World War I and how he joins and finds this Nazi party and how he helps grow it both as a propaganda minister and eventually as the head of the party, and how he grows into the role of chancellor. And then we'll transition, we'll start talking on the next video about kind of Hitler's beliefs, his ideologies of anti-Semitism, where his hatred comes from, and kind of where he's going to lead Germany down this dark path of what we call the Holocaust, or the final solution in his terms. So for today, though, you can label this in your notes as The Rise of Hitler Part 2, and we'll talk a little bit more about where he's going to take Germany from here on out. So Hitler, after the war, if you remember, he kind of cashes in on some of that goodwill he had dealt with some of his generals, and he gets a job actually in the Weimar Republic working as kind of a spy for the government. And his job is to go around from group to group, all these different political groups, and listen to what they have to say and then kind of report back to his bosses. One day he goes to this group, and it's a very small group, and it's only about 40 members. And it's a very tiny one, but they're anti-Semitic, they're anti-communist, they're very right-wing nationalist party, and eventually this group will become known as the Nazi Party. But at the beginning, it's kind of the German Workers' Party, the Socialist Workers' Party, right? And so he joins this party, and he goes back to his bosses, and he says that German Workers' Party, they're nothing to worry about. Don't fret about them. They're small, they're fringe, they're not really a danger to anybody. They're kind of a bunch of wackadoos, right? But he secretly is going to join them because he likes what he hears. He becomes their propaganda minister, and he's really going to grow the party into the Nazi party that we think of today. And so if you are a Nazi, or if you are someone who is in Germany at this time and you are attracted by the Nazis, then you probably fit into one of these four categories. Because the Nazis try really to be all things to all people. If you are a socialist, well then you like the Nazis, or you are at least inclined to like the Nazis because they believe that farmers should be given their land, that electricity and water, they should be owned by the state. If you're a nationalist, well then you like the ideas that all German people should be kind of united into one country and that all German-speaking people, rather, should be kind of united into one country. Poland, Czechoslovakia, Austria, right? Parts of Europe that speak German should all be into one country. If you're a racist or an anti-Semite, then you like them because they're going to blame the Jews for much of the problems of the world, and they're going to stop Jewish immigration and kind of restrict what the Jews can do. And if you're a fascist, which means you believe in a strong government and control of the newspapers, well, then you like them because Hitler's going to take on most of those ideas. Remember, he's going to become a dictator and use the guise of socialism as his pathway to power. But really, he's a fascist dictator who kind of rules over Germany with an iron fist. Now, not everybody cares for the Nazis, and as they come up, many people do speak out against them. A few of them are workers who had voted for the communists, who believe in kind of communist ideals. Also, intellectuals, students, university professors, lawyers, some doctors, those people who are in kind of an intellectual profession are often going to speak out against Hitler, especially at the beginning, and later on they're going to suffer some repercussions because of that. But largely, if you are a nationalist, if you're a racist, if you're a farmer who has some of these same ideologies, if you are a lower middle class worker, such as plumbers and shopkeepers, trade individual who are worried about the German economy, or if you're very rich and you're worried about a communist takeover such as what had been going on in Russia, then you are inclined to at least hear the Nazis out and hear what they have to say. Now, that being said, Hitler is going to come to power mainly because Brat and the Great Depression have destroyed the German economy. And he's going to use those as a rallying point. He's going to use each one of those to kind of make the German people feel better about themselves again. And we'll talk about kind of more of his pathway to power when we are in class, but understand that he uses these to his advantage, uses them as a rallying point, and he starts to direct the Nazis' anger towards the rest of the world more towards the Jews and blame them for all of the problems that exist at this time. In 1933, Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany, and he establishes a totalitarian state, which means he's going to take total control over the entire state of Germany. He's going to run everything that they do, right? And he claims that Germany has the right to expand its territory, that they needed to bring in kind of those old pieces of land that were taken away from them at the Treaty of Versailles. So the first thing he's going to do is he's going to immediately go against the treaty by going against territory. Second, he's going to rebuild his military and try to make it one of the strongest in the world. Define again the Treaty of Versailles, the part that's A, right, and brat. And finally, he's also going to form alliances. In 1936, he joins up with Mussolini, who's also the fascist dictator of Italy, who we'll talk about in the next few weeks. And he's going to bring him in as kind of an ally, and also, again, start to defy the Treaty of Versailles and some of those 14-point plans that Woodrow Wilson had spoken about. Now, there's the last few things you need to remember. A couple of them are, one, Hitler is going to believe in this idea of Lebensraum, or living space. Basically, he says the German people cannot be bottled up into this tiny little country anymore. We need this living space, this place to grow and to expand and to be able to take over as much, expand our horizons and have plenty of spaces to grow food and to live, right? He also believes in a strong Germany, and that means that you have to really abolish the Treaty of Versailles to have a strong Germany. He also believes that people of German-speaking origins should all live in one country. And if you look on the map above, you're going to see that some of the places he's going to go early on are Austria, parts of Czechoslovakia, what he'll call the Sudetenland, and then parts of Poland, which was created in the wake of World War I as kind of punishment for the treaty, as part of the Treaty of Versailles. He's also going to change his name and no longer be called chancellor. He's going to be called Führer instead, and that's the idea that there should be one single leader with complete power rather than a democracy, that totalitarian state. He also believes in the ideas of social Darwinism, that there was once this Aryan race that was superior to everyone else, and that the Jews are subhuman, that they somehow don't have the makeup to be equal to the rest of the world. He also is in favor of the German people being completely economically self-sufficient. They're going to grow everything. They're going to build everything that they need. They're not going to rely on anyone else. That's called an autocracy. And finally, that Germany was in danger. And mainly they were in danger from the communists and the Jews who had destroyed the country themselves and much of the rest of the world, including that mythical Aryan race. So all of this is going to come together. Hitler is basically going to take Germany for a ride. Once he finally does take power, he's going to make people believe that he has the right ideology, that he has the right pathway for Germany. And while there'll be people who will speak up and fight out against him, for the most part, because Germany gets back on its feet relatively quickly, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to kind of go along to get along, that they're going to listen to Hitler and listen to his ideas, mainly because they profit from them. But we'll see in the next few days and weeks where all of this ideology and where all these thoughts are going. They're going in a very dangerous path. And that's the lead up to World War I and the Holocaust themselves. So make sure you have all of these in your notes. Remember, this can be day 3, the rise of Hitler part 2. We'll talk next time about kind of Hitler's twisted ideologies on genetics and the Aryan race and where some of his hatreds for the Jewish people come from. But for now, understand that Hitler has risen to power. He has become a powerful individual within the Nazi Party and within German government, and that he is preparing himself not only for war, but to conquer most of Europe and for the extermination of the Jewish people. Until next time, take care, everybody. Bye.